Okay, so you know those 79th group loan notes you've been asking about. The ones where you're not quite sure about the security backing them up. Well, we're going to dive deep into that today and really try to figure this whole thing out.
Yeah, it's definitely a situation that needs some untangling.
For sure. And we've got some pretty interesting stuff to work with here, especially these documents from Insolvency and Law.
Really helps to shed some light on what's going on.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do today is try to unpack the complexities surrounding how these loans are actually secured and what kind of protection you actually have as an investor.
That's right. We'll be looking at the mechanisms in place, the potential weaknesses, and really just trying to understand the level of risk involved.
Exactly. And to do that, we're going to focus on two key areas that are highlighted in these documents. The first is this thing called a debenture deed, which was put together by T&T trustees.
And the second is this whole situation surrounding Castle Trust and Management Services Limited, which is a bit of a head-scratcher, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely got us raising some eyebrows. So by the end of this deep dive, you should have a much clearer picture of what's going on and what it means for your investment.
Hopefully a lot less confusion and a lot more understanding.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
So let's kick things off with that debenture deed. Now, for those who aren't familiar with the term, think of it like a really formal contract that sets out all the terms of the loan and, more importantly, the security that's supposed to be backing it up.
Right. It's basically the document that's supposed to give you that reassurance that your money is protected.
Exactly. So Insolvency and Law took a deep dive into the debenture deed that was registered for 79th Luxury Living 6 Limited, and they used this company as a representative example for many of the other 79th group companies.
Yeah, they figured if they could understand this one, it would give them a pretty good idea of how the others are structured.
Makes sense. And what they found, well, it's not exactly the most reassuring news.
Let's just say there are some red flags that need to be addressed.
So the first thing that really jumps out is how incredibly vague this deed is when it comes to describing the actual properties or assets that are supposed to be securing these loans.
Right. It's like they're saying your money is safe, but they're not really telling you where it is or what it's tied to.
Exactly. It's all very broad descriptions and general terms.
And that's not just a minor inconvenience. It creates a very real legal risk.
How so?
Well, if those assets aren't clearly defined, it opens the door for all sorts of arguments down the line, especially if things go south and we're talking insolvency proceedings.
So basically someone could come in and say, hey, wait a minute. These assets were never actually intended as security for these particular loans.
Exactly. And without clear definitions in the deed, it becomes very difficult to prove otherwise.
Not good. So not only do you not know exactly what's supposed to be protecting your investment, but there's also this added layer of legal uncertainty.
And this is where things get even trickier. We've got this term that keeps popping up, floating charge.
I was wondering about that. It sounds a bit like something that could well float away.
Haha. Well, in a sense, it kind of can. A floating charge is a type of security that lets the company, in this case, the 79th Group companies, continue to use and even sell those assets in their day-to-day business.
So how does that provide any security?
The idea is that